you doing, Deirdre?
Hi, Paul. Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Ooh.
Oh, you're so Christmassy.
Yes.
Yay.
Would you believe my mom insisted I wear this dress
Good.
today?
Well, your mom was right. Tell her I approve.
She said, how many opportunities are you going to get to wear a Christmas dress?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And I blend, so I appreciate
Look at
this.
you and I, we should be going to the Christmas dance together.
Yeah, there you go. We both need to go to a party
That's
after
right,
this.
exactly.
So Paul, what's interesting is that your career, you're kind of best known for comedies, but you've ended up directing 2 Christmas movies now. You did Grounded a couple of years ago as well.
Yes.
So how has that kind of happened? Was it always the plan to do Christmas movies?
It was never a plan to do Christmas movies for me. I mean, look, my favorite movie in the world is It's a Wonderful Life, and when I saw that, I remember thinking, oh, well, it'd be really great to make like one of these movies that kind of is a perennial that you watch every year. But, you know, when I did the first one, and the first one, Grounded, sadly, was not very successful, so I thought, well, I don't need to do another one. But then when Emma sent me the script, I didn't know it was a Christmas movie till I opened it up and said, oh, it's Last Christmas, okay. But then I just fell in love with it and thought, you know what, let's do it again.
And when Emma Thompson says go, you
Amen.
have to go.
When a dame tells you to go, you go.
What's interesting about Last Christmas as well, and I noticed it kind of has this in common with your last film, A Simple Favor, is it's not a straight up Christmas movie. You know, there are elements of romantic comedy, there's family drama in there. And I was wondering, has that been kind of a recent, like, conscious effort as a director that you kind of want to play with genre more, maybe like break from genre boundaries?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you look at all my films, they're all really genres, different ones, you know, from The Heat and Spy and Ghostbusters, all those things. Yeah, I just am looking for... what I love about genres is they have their own set of rules that then you get a break, you know, and for comedy or when you're trying to get laughs, that's the most fun thing is you go like, oh, people expect this, we'll do this, and out of that will hopefully come some laughs.
And then Last Christmas and A Simple Favor also share in common that, you know, there is a bit of a twist. And then another thing I love about Last Christmas is that it reminded me of Bridesmaids, which is like, you know, your biggest movie, in that they both follow really a central female lead who's kind of really found herself in a part of her life where she's really kind of stuck. Yeah. And I was wondering, when you're making like your new movies, do you ever kind of consciously compare them to previous films, or is that just kind of, you know, a subconscious process?
I mean, you do sometimes, you go like, oh, I don't want to repeat myself. Like, if something's really carbon copy of something else, then I'll steer away from it. But I also like really complex female characters, and I like female characters who aren't perfect because I like characters who aren't perfect, you know, and there's something great about, you know, watching somebody kind of trying to figure things out and not doing a good job at it for a while. I think it's just very real and relatable.
I'm sure you know this at the moment, but there's kind of a big like debate going on in the movie industry at the moment around Marvel movies. You know, are they just purely commercial? Is there any kind of artistic merit in them? I was wondering, have you kind of been thinking about these conversations? Do you have a take?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, I think any movie that does a good job with an audience is artful and is cinematic. And look, I think those movies are very cinematic and they're very artfully put together. You know, they come from a pre-existing intellectual property, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think any movie that entertains and hits its mark with an audience is a valid, great movie, and I'm in support of all movies.
Would you ever consider directing a Marvel or a superhero movie?
I might. My only thing with superheroes is I have a hard time relating to them sometimes because I like making movies about people who can get hurt, for lack of a better term.
Kind of vulnerable.
Well, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And if I know when they're going to be actually hurt, then I can relate. And if a superhero gets punched through a building and the building falls on them and they crawl out, I'm like, okay, well then when are they really hurt? I know he looks sore, but are they like dead? And so I prefer to make movies about humans, but that said, it all depends on the script. I thought Iron Man was one of the greatest movies of all time.
Just looking at the movie industry again, there's also like quite a few directors who are turning to Netflix now. You know, you have the likes of Scorsese, Alfonso Cuarón, the Coen brothers, and I know you've spoken out previously about how you're not exactly mad about their Speed Up feature, but what is your, you know, general interest in Netflix? Would you ever consider doing a Netflix movie, or do you think there are some things they need to work on first?
I would rather do movies for movie theaters.
Yeah.
I just love that big cinematic experience of sitting in a theater with all these people on the big screen. So I'm I would like to stick to that.
Yes.
But that said, look, I've produced movies over at Netflix. I produced one called Someone Great, the Jen Robinson.
I love that film.
Yeah, it's great,
amazing.
right?
Yes.
But that's a movie that probably a studio wouldn't make because Jen's a first-time filmmaker, and so we were able to get that made for $8 million, which is not much for a film, and she got to prove what an amazing filmmaker she is. So yeah, so I think it's always going to be a mix. Like some movies belong in a movie theater, some movies will do better on streaming.
So kind of watch this space.
Exactly, exactly.
Looking at the kind of topic of Christmas, I was wondering what were the Christmas movies you grew up with and might have inspired this one?
Well, It's a Wonderful Life is my favorite.
Yes.
That's my favorite movie of all time, anyway. So, yeah, like that, and then, I mean, Miracle on 34th Street, all those ones, and then, later on, discovering Love Actually, and, I mean, and even Bridget Jones' Diary is kind of a Christmas movie because it ends in the snow and all that. So, yeah, I just love all those. I have anything that kind of leaves you feeling positive and upbeat.
And would you go back to them kind of year on year? Because it's coming to that time of the year where we're going back to our Christmas movies, I'm finding.
Yeah, I know. Oh, gosh, I mean, again, it's never Christmas unless I watch It's a Wonderful Life. So, and then maybe I'll check out Last Christmas again.
And are there any like kind of Christmas traditions that you would do with your family kind of year on year, or ones you remember like growing up with?
Yeah, well, growing up, yeah, I mean, I was an only child, and so I had my Christmas with my parents in the morning, but then in the afternoon we would drive out to my cousin's house, and I was really close with them, and so I got to have like kind of two Christmases. Got to have the lonely boys Christmas, and then kind of this family Christmas with my other cousins of a similar age, and it was just always such a special time.